Hi, it's 2022. Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully, you've had a chance to start laying out the groundwork for 2022 and figuring out how to become successful and how to become that individual that you want to be. But how do you get there? What do you need to do to become successful in life? With every successful person you see, you will almost always discover a plan for success. Have you planned for your year 2022? May I ask you, have you decided what you want for yourself? And have you created a plan to get there? If you've got a chance, feel free to comment in the link below. Whatever your personality, strengths, and weaknesses are, you should develop a plan around them. Take the time to visualize exactly where you're going. Your commitment to following a plan will direct how successful the new year will be for you. Well, for myself, my goals are to transform my routine for consistent progress to make success a daily habit. That means everything I do from here on should have a purpose, to build a link between my discipline and actions, and to develop critical skills to improve all areas of my life and be the person that I want to be. How about you? Well, welcome to Life Expressions. I am your host, Chari Hineri Elon. Today, we will talk about how to develop yourself holistically, because you cannot be successful if you haven't developed yourself holistically, and if you're not healthy holistically. How to take care of your well-being and how to achieve holistic health. My guest today is a registered pharmacist. She's a certified Reiki practitioner, a certified emotional intelligence and spiritual life coach, a holistic wellness advocate, and she's also the head of public relations for Team Rescue Iloilo and a content creator and writer. Well, she has been with me in the past year, and I'm so glad she's my first guest for year 2022. Welcome to Life Expressions, Thea Marie Pugales. Hi, Thea.
Hi, Tita Cha. How are you? Thank you for
I'm
having me.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay too.
Yeah, it's good to see you looking great. So let's talk about holistic health. I'm pretty sure many would like to become healthy, especially at this time of the pandemic, but it's not just not being sick, right? So tell us, what is holistic health?
Well, when we say health, particularly, we often think about the physical health, right? Fitness. Even when we talk about wellness and fitness, we always acknowledge the physical self. But for the holistic side of things, we are addressing, when you say holistic wellness, we are addressing the person as a whole. So we are addressing the physical body, the mind, the emotions, the spiritual side, because we can be as healthy as we want on the physical side, but when we are not taking care of ourselves via our mind and via our emotions, our health in the physical form is also affected. That's why holistic health and holistic wellness focuses on the person as a whole being.
Yes, as a whole being, that means mental, emotional, spiritual, and of course, physical. Let's talk about mental first. How do you ensure that you are okay mentally?
When you have that sense of peace, when you go to sleep, be peaceful, when your mind is acknowledging your thoughts, not
Mhm.
necessarily changing them into false positivity thoughts, but acknowledging when you have negative thoughts and trying to reintegrate those thoughts into a more productive way for you to be able to reach your best version. So
Yes.
peace, that's my main goal when it comes to mental fitness, the peace that you feel mentally.
Yes. When you talk about thoughts, it is not actually easy to control your thoughts. You say, or we say, we become what we think about most of the time. It is the most powerful thing to have in yourself, right? Like, how do you control your thoughts? How do you ensure that you have positive thoughts? Many of us say that we cannot control our thoughts. What do you say to this?
Well, the key word there is control. We are so focused on controlling our thoughts when we don't have to control them. Actually, we just have to manage them. We have to identify those thoughts, the triggers behind those thoughts, and actually try to think or try to know ourselves deep enough where are these thoughts coming from? Why are these thoughts triggering me? Because when we find answers to those questions, we find solutions to those thoughts that we don't like to think about, right? So when it comes to thoughts and feelings, actually, Tita Cha, there is no right or wrong. Okay, so they're all valid, they're all human. What's right or wrong is the actions that we take because of those thoughts and because of those emotions.
Very
So
well
our
said.
thoughts and emotions may be valid, but our actions does not always make it valid because of those internal thoughts and emotions. So with regards to controlling your thoughts, it's more of I advocate for managing them, finding the root causes of them so that you may reintegrate it into a much more positive light.
That's wonderful. How do you manage your thoughts? Can you give us concrete examples on how to manage your thoughts?
Well, I do this thing. It's called thought processing, right? So it really depends on each person because we do have different coping mechanisms and triggers and all that. But one thing that worked for me is the thought process journal. On certain times of the day when I feel like I'm losing my cool or I'm kind of in a stressed situation, I try to journal it down. What do at this time, example, it's 10 p.m. I kind of feel triggered. So why am I feeling this way? At first, I identify the thought, right? And then I identify the emotions that comes with that thought. And then I try to think about what is this that makes me so angry? What is this that something that makes me think about negative thoughts? I try to find the root causes of it because I don't think that it works for me when you just somewhat cure the symptoms. So when we go deeper and find that root cause, for me it really works because it's much more productive that way, and it does not allow you to get into the point of overthinking.
That's very good.
Another thing that worked for me is what we call present moment awareness. Be present in your body, be present in your mind, because what I noticed about me is when I think about the past, depression comes in, right? When I think about too much of the future, anxiety comes in. So as you can see, it's really self-inflicted. So aside from the journal, being present with my body, that's one of those tips that I can give actually to be more aware. Because the key really there is to be aware of what you are thinking and finding the root causes of it in order for you to be able to move forward productively.
That's very helpful and very practical. Be present, be self aware, not to overthink about the past and not to overthink about the future, to avoid depression and anxiety, and to live in the moment. Is that what you're doing? When you live in the moment, you appreciate what you have and what you do for the moment.
Yes, because that's the only thing that we can control, right? So we cannot control the past anymore because it is done. We just have to learn from it. And when it comes to the future, we can actually make safety plans for it, but we don't really know what will happen in the future. So that's why I give importance to present moment awareness.
That is good. How does one achieve holistic health? You said, of course, it's a total development and a total being of a person. So, how do you achieve those?
So there is no one size fits all package on how to achieve holistic wellness. It really is up to the person because, as I said, we have different journeys, we have different paths. What worked for me may not work for others. But when you say holistic wellness, of course, it's taking care of your whole body. So that means a lot of work. When we do a lot of work with our physical body, how much more if you want to achieve the holistic side of that,
True.
right? So
Yeah.
aside from eating healthy, you have to eat on time, right? You have to address the physical body, you have to address nutrition. Mentally, you have to know how to reframe your thoughts, but to manage them in a way that you are not self-sabotaging. For your emotions, journaling is very important for me, and that's a daily practice. Or even tapping myself, or you're feeling this way. Why? And you don't have to like carry a journal every time. The fact that you can tap yourself into being aware that you are feeling this or thinking about this, that's already good enough. And aside from that, of course, movement. We sometimes underestimate the power of body movement. That that doesn't mean you have to go to the gym or exercise and everything. You just have to move, because there are stagnant energies that are actually in our body. And when stress accumulates, our body, you can feel it physically, right? It gets heavy physically. It gets heavy in our chest, gets heavy in our shoulders. That's why movement is something that I like yoga,
Yeah.
or if you do dancing, where you can release. And of course, the most important one, spiritual one, is you connect to your source. When I say source, that's God. That's your creator, your source of energy, your source of life. You should have that relationship to have that holistic wellness. So it's interconnected actually. It really branches out.
Very good. You have mentioned self sabotaging. I'm pretty sure many people could relate to this, are unaware that they're actually doing it. Could you give us practical situations to stop yourself from self sabotaging?
Well, you have to find your mechanism. For me personally, my self-sabotaging activity or trait is people pleasing. When you say people pleasing, it's good. You're a good friend. You're a good daughter. You're a good sister. You're a good companion. You're good at everything. And you say yes to everyone that needs you, right? You say yes. Okay, I'm available. Yes, I will cater to your needs, etc. The thing there is, when you are a people pleaser, you say yes to everyone, that you say no to yourself, right? You have that disattachment to your relationship with yourself. And that really leads to resentment. Without healthy boundaries and without saying no, you are actually bound for self-sabotaging. And for me, that became my reality for a very long period of time. When I was not aware of it yet, I just thought that I'm doing a good job because I'm saying yes to everyone. I'm being a good person, being a good um, companion, daughter, friend, etc. But at the end of the day, I'm giving everyone peace while I was not at peace with myself. So that's one of the most self-sabotaging thing that you can do. That's
That-
why you are supposed, when you are a people pleaser, you have to have clear boundaries, because the moment you say yes to ambush schedules, those schedules that, hey, can you come with me, and then you have plans, and then you say no to your plans for them, that creates a disattachment. I really felt that this attachment to myself when I was actually early 20s. I'm mid 20s right now, so early 20s. That's when I felt that my people pleasing habit was not healthy anymore, and it lead to resentment, right? So this resentment, you don't want to feel this with the people you love,
yeah.
with your friends, with your family. So I have to take accountability, not to blame them, because I was the one who said yes to everybody, right? I was the one who sliced myself too thin for everyone to like.
Yeah.
So I think being aware of that is one of the things that really helped me, because as long as I'm not aware of it, how can I reintegrate it, right?
Very good. That's very good and very practical. I would dare say that it has to have like moderation for everything. You take care of yourself and you take care of the people around you. You try not just to please everyone, but to please yourself as well. And that is where balance comes in. There is also an importance to emotional intelligence. Holistic wellness, not just comes with mental wellness, but also emotional intelligence. Let's talk about this. How do you know that you are emotionally intelligent in the first place?
Well, the thing about emotions, it's tricky, right? It's very tricky. But when you come to think of it, when you dive deeper into emotions, there are messages in there. You are feeling these kinds of things because there is something that you need to learn. There is something that you need to focus on. There is that saying that what you resist persists. And that is connected also to emotions. You see, we live in a society where we think that emotions are our enemies, right? We don't want to feel angry, we don't want to feel frustrated, and that's valid. But if we don't acknowledge these emotions, how can we help ourselves? We cannot identify each emotion if we do not acknowledge their presence in our lives in the first place, right? Because our initial response to anger and frustration is pushing it under the rug. We don't want to deal with it, right? With emotional intelligence, it's actually identifying the emotion, like anger. I'm angry. You cannot identify your emotions if you do not acknowledge it in the first place, or you do not accept that you're feeling it, right? And that requires a lot of work to actually have the courage to accept that you are feeling something you don't want to feel. With EI, with emotional intelligence, it doesn't stop from identifying or accepting or acknowledging the emotions alone. How do you manage it? Right? So you go from there to managing it. And how do you release it in a healthy manner? Because as I said, our initial response to ugly emotions are never mind, or pushing it under the rug, or you don't want to deal with it. And what we do not realize before we explode, what we do not realize is it accumulates in our chest and it accumulates in our system, that when you got to the point where you are full, you snap, and then you burst out, you lash out of anger. And some people, they can actually kill because of anger, right? We have cases not just here in the Philippines but all over the world, gun shooting, right? Those kinds of incidents are, it comes from emotions actually. And when you are emotionally intelligent, you can have not just holistic wellness, but you can have that decision making when it comes to work, when it comes to school. Those techniques are very helpful for success, actually.
Yes. As a certified emotional intelligence and spiritual life coach, Thea, what do you think are the basic steps to reach the level that you want to reach? Like, for example, you're holistically well and you're emotionally intelligent. What are the basic steps that one person should do every single day?
The most important for me is, there are many steps, but the most important for me is building self trust, because some people do not realize that they are betraying themselves. Keeping small promises to yourself, like example, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and do yoga, and then tomorrow you don't do it, and then the next day you don't do it. What we don't realize is that we're not building self trust. How can we trust ourselves if we cannot fulfill the promises that we make? Those are the small promises, right? So another step for me there is identifying the different emotions or the different thoughts that you are experiencing at the very moment. As I said, the thought processes like 10 a.m. I have alarms actually when it comes to this. I have alarms wherein at 10 a.m. I write down what do I feel right now, why am I feeling this, and then I alarm it after another 2 hours, and then for the rest of the day. It became a habit that I got to the point that I didn't need the alarms.
Mhm.
I just mentally take notes in the middle of the day. Na okay, I feel like this, I feel like that, and at the end of the day, I do this thing where I think about my whole day. Where was I strong in this day? Where was I at my weakest at this day? Why did this happen? And then I try to find the root causes or the triggers behind it. Is it work, or is it responsibilities? Is it deadlines? Is it stress? And then I find ways to actually release those emotions in a healthy manner. If I need to cry, I allow myself to cry.
True.
Because sometimes, also with crying, people have a dysfunctional relationship with crying. They see that as an enemy. Of course, when you over cry, then that is not healthy. But when you allow yourself to have that space where you feel safe to manage your emotions, that actually contributes a lot to not just emotional intelligence, but to achieve holistic wellness. So aside from the thought process journal and aside from the mental notes that I'm taking and the identifying, I also have to find the best way to release the emotions that works for me. It does not work with everybody. Sometimes a way to release your emotions is writing a song, right? Or singing, or writing a poem, or even doing stretches or gun firing on the firing range. So it really is not a one size fits all, but
True.
it really requires a lot of work. And for me, if you allow yourself to work at companies or businesses, why not allow yourself also to work within yourself?
I would dare say, from the things that you have mentioned, to have self trust is also to be able to develop self discipline. Because if you are disciplined to do the things that you ought to do, that you have told yourself to do, then you are able to trust yourself. And if you are self aware, you make a conscious decision and a conscious effort to do the things that you think you need to do, then that would come into fruition, the things that would make you holistically well. So I think there's a lot of skills that you need to develop, and there has to be a conscious effort and decision to follow through. And that is very good because you're able to share it with us, and that there's no one size that fits everyone. And then there's no strict, shall I say, activity that would fit everyone. Whatever you like to do that. If you feel like you need to cry, do so, but not overly cry, right? If you need to laugh, do so as well. But do not control your emotions. As you have said, manage your emotions. That's wonderful, Thea. So, in your personal experience, do you have a recent experience where your holistic wellness have been tried to the fullest and you said, oh yes, thank goodness I was able to overcome this experience? Is there a recent experience?
Last year, it was last year actually, when I was affected with this pandemic, with COVID. And of course, aside from being a coach and aside from doing things online, I do get out because I'm a frontliner myself,
Yeah.
right? So I face patients, I face different kinds of people every day. And with this pandemic, we cannot control if ever we get infected. Although that time I know that I was being careful, doing the protocols and all that, but I still got it. I'm fully vaccinated at that time. And it really, that moment was when I can say, although it's not very recent, it's but that was the time that I really felt that I was being really tested spiritually, emotionally, physically, because I had symptoms also mentally. And then the symptoms, what I realized is the symptoms, it's manageable by medicines because I was vaccinated.
Yeah.
With the physical body, it can be regenerated with rest, with vitamins, with lemon infusion. I do drink lemon. I love lemons. So what really tested me that time is for me it was really a mental game, mental and emotional game at that time. I was alone. Of course, I was in isolation and all that, and I was thinking about my family, my dogs, and all that. I was thinking about friends that I cannot remember at that time if I was able. I think I didn't meet any friends at that week, the whole 2 weeks. But I know that I've faced patience and all that. And it really got into the point that I'm not really fearful, Tita.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was scared. I was scared at that time, and
Scared
so
of.
there is that. I was scared of what if I infect my family? What if, because we live in the same house? What if I infect my dogs and all that? And there was overthinking. Really, there was a lot of um, I was not peaceful the first few days of quarantine, especially that on the first few days, my fever was 39. It's not going down. I'm having chills and everything. And thankfully, that my oxygen levels never went below normal.
Mhm.
So isolation and quarantine did the job. I didn't have to be admitted to the hospital. But come the third or fourth and fifth day of quarantine, that's where I started to slowly take my power back. Because at that moment in that room, I can't do anything about it. I have it. I can't do anything. I cannot deny. I cannot not acknowledge it that it's there because it's there. I have it. I have the thing, the virus thing.
Yeah.
And what I did at that time, I was not coach yet. I was not. I'm not an emotional intelligence life coach yet. So what I did, I enrolled.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
became. I became an emotional intelligence life coach in the middle of quarantine. That's
Wow.
where it empowered me to take my power back, my peace back, my mental and emotional peace back. And after all the things that I've learned in EI class and EI training, that's when I realized that our thoughts and our emotions are no one but ours. And we have the skill and we have the capacity to reintegrate that. And with regards to healing, it's a conscious effort to do every day. It's not something that okay, I will do this in 2 weeks, then I'm done. No, it's not. It's going to be an everyday thing that you have to commit yourself to doing.
Yeah, that's good. And you were able to overcome the challenges during you having COVID, and wow, you were able to graduate as a certified life coach during your self isolation. How did that help you?
But it helped me look brighter at everything. It made me see things with a grateful eye. For me, that was one way of, although at first I was really down, but after the isolation thing, it was actually my birthday. During my birthday, I was in isolation. So I was alone and all. But after that, at the end of everything, as I graduated the course and as I got out of isolation, I view things more with a grateful eye. And that really helped me understand that time here is not something that we can control. That's why I really advocate for present moment awareness,
Yeah.
because we cannot control other things except where we are right now, who we are right now.
Yeah. I like that present moment awareness. That's wonderful. Let's talk about Reiki healing, Thea, since you're into that as well. Many of us are not familiar with Reiki healing. Tell me more about this.
Well, Reiki, it comes from the word Rei and Ki. So those are Japanese words. Rei means universal, God, source. And then Ki means the life force energy that permeates all living things. So basically, everything around us is energy. So Reiki altogether, it means universal life force energy. So yes, I am a practitioner and I do that. And that triggered also when I was in isolation. I
Wow.
have friends in Manila that are Reiki practitioners, and when they found out that I was actually in isolation with all of that, and I'm having this overthinking, everything was falling apart for me. They did this amazing 1 week healing marathon where I do Zoom with a practitioner, with different practitioner each and every day. They did that for 1 week and they give Reiki healing for me.
Yeah.
That's for free. They gave that for free and they supported me that way. And then little by little created a door for me not to like overthink and all that. That really helped me based from my experience. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was already a Reiki practitioner, though I have not yet took in any clients because I was practicing it with myself first, and my dogs, and my sister. Practice it with my sister, because before you become a Reiki practitioner, you have to do the 21-day cleanse. It
Mhm.
goes back with history of Reiki that the the father of Reiki also did this 21-day cleanse thing. So we have to go through that. That's why I didn't take in any clients at that moment. But after isolation, excuse me, after isolation, that's where I understood how it really helped me and how it can help other people as well.
Mhm.
Um, with Reiki, it's done by a certified Reiki practitioner. It cannot be done by non practitioners. So it comes from the idea that we have energy centers in our body. So mainly we have the seven energy centers. That's the root. It's in the base of the spine. The sacral. That's 2 inches below the navel. Solar plexus. That's in the gut. I'm so sorry, my throat. And there is that heart energy center in the chest, the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. So during Reiki, we focus on those energy centers because those are our main energy centers. It comes from the idea that any disruption of the energy flow in our body, sometimes it manifests as physical illnesses. It also is a great way for us to check where we can work on. Example, I when I'm healing or when I am in a session with someone and I feel that there is a lot of tension in their throat energy center. That's where we can help the client understand what they need to reintegrate to themselves. So with the throat, that signifies how you express yourself, maybe repressed thoughts that you want to say. So that allows clients to actually do something and reintegrate themselves to reach their highest version. So
Yeah.
with Reiki healing, I do it in a studio here, and I'm lucky enough to find a studio where I can actually practice it because I really don't have a space of my own for services like that. And I do that for clients now. And I also graduated last year pet Reiki. So I'm in rescue, right? So I integrate Reiki also with rescues and of course my own dogs.
Oh, wow, that's great. So, uh, people can contact you if they would want to undergo Reiki healing with you. How can they do that?
Yeah, my Facebook page is actually my name here. You can find it in here. That's my Facebook name, and they can contact me because I do it. I'm attuned on hands-on healing, which is the face-to-face one, and I'm attuned also to the distant healing. And I
Yeah.
think Tira there in Canada, they perform that actually, especially in hospitals. They
Yes.
perform that as an addition to therapy and all that. I always emphasize that it is an addition. It's never a substitute for medical care, but it really helps in a way that in different hospitals in the States and in Canada, and I think in Manila they have this too. It's very helpful with regards to patients that are undergoing dialysis, the anxiety, kids with cancer. Really
Yeah.
helps them relax because Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation, and it is a good technique in emptying your mind and
Yes.
your body with tension and stress.
Yes. And I have researched it here. Actually, have mentioned here in Canada, there's also what they call Reiki massage, but you're not doing Reiki massage. You just use your hands.
Yeah, I don't do contact,
Yeah.
skin contact. I don't do that.
Okay. Thea, would you say that Reiki healing is also integrated with holistic wellness, or can there be a connection between the two?
Yes, actually, I did a healing circle. I was a guest speaker at that time with Body Love Yoga Studio. We talked about Reiki and how we can and how it helps actually holistic health or holistic wellness. Because with Reiki, it starts from the patient or the client actually just lies down and closes their eyes, and then I do the thing, and then the emptying of negative thoughts is there. The incorporation of good energy for the physical body is there, as well as the Reiki principles actually really helps them too with regards to emotional health. Do you want me to share the five Reiki principles,
Sure.
Tita
Yes,
Cha?
please. Yes,
All
please.
right. So that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
the five Reiki principles are actually principles, but you can use this as affirmation or you can use this as a daily practice.
Mhm.
So the five Reiki principles is just for today, I am at peace. It
Okay.
reminds us to be at peace with our body, our minds, our soul, where we are right now. The second one is just for today, I trust.
Mhm.
Trust in God, trust in the universe, trust on myself, trust on other people. So the emotional connection is there as well as the spiritual one. So the third one is just for today, I am grateful.
Mhm.
So gratefulness is there. Just for today, I work joyfully. So for this one, it pertains to our work as an adult, but it also pertains to the work that we are doing within ourselves.
Mhm.
And the last one is just for today, I am love. So
Okay.
I am love is one of the principle that's closest to my heart, because it's not just allowing yourself to give love to others, but of course, being in a position where you see yourself as worthy of the love that you are giving to other people. So it really incorporates the holistic wellness that we are aiming for, and it just requires practice for the client to do that as well.
Okay, that's great. You have mentioned just for today. Those principles are just for today or every single day?
So it speaks about just for today because of the present moment awareness.
Okay.
We say that every day to ourselves. Me personally, I say that to myself every day. Just for today, like this, just for today. So it became a practice. It became a
Okay.
habit of mine, and it
Yes.
got incorporated also into my everyday life. So it's just for today, and
Oh,
it became everything.
that is great. So there's no pressure because it's not forever, but you say just for today and then you do it every day, it becomes a habit. It's like excellence. It's not an act, it is a habit. Right? So that is wonderful. Thank you so much, Thea. It has been very interesting, and I'm pretty sure this discussion of ours has been very helpful to those who would want to be holistically well. If there's one thing that you would like to leave with our audience, what would that be to make sure that they would be on their road to holistic wellness?
Well, I guess, Tita Cha, what I can say is the most significant relationship we will ever have in this lifetime is our relationship with ourselves. That's why if we do the work, we do the work for ourselves. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. No matter how much you want to help others, to give to others, if you're empty, you cannot give anything in return. So take care of yourself first, take care of your well being, and then after that, you can take care of others as well.
That's wonderfully said. Thank you so much, Thea. What a great way to start my 2022 with you here on Life Expressions. If you wish to contact Thea, well, her Facebook page is Thea Marie Pugales, and you can also make sure to be on your road to holistic wellness and just try Reiki healing as well with Thea. Thank you so much again, Thea. I am Chari Hineri Ilan, your host for Life Expressions. If you like this episode, please don't hesitate to share or download this episode. You can also listen to Life Expressions on Spotify and any of your favorite podcast apps. Again, have a happy new year. Have a great 2022. Remember, you will be wherever you decide to be. Just make sure that you're aware of the present moment. Thank you for watching Life Experience.